First of all, thank you so much for joining this webinar. Just to give you all a quick introduction, I have been working with Frappe for more than 4 years now. I am a regional manager for India West region. And in today's session, I'll be taking you through a few modules of ERPNext. The idea of today's webinar is to give you an overview of the modules which are available in ERPNext. We have 1 hour time, so I might not be able to go into specifics, but we'll try to cover as many things as possible. Hope this session will be useful. And just to initiate, I'll just give, first of all, I'll give a quick presentation and then we will directly jump on to the demo. I'll share my screen. Ankita, please let me know when it is visible. Ankita, can you see my screen? Hello, is my screen visible? Can someone confirm, please?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's visible. So, Ankita, if there's an interruption or if I lose network or something, just ping me on Telegram, okay?
Yes.
All right. So just to give everyone a quick context, you all might already know about Frappe, but still just giving an overview. So Frappe has been in the business for more than 15 years now, and we are committed to building open source solutions only. So all the products that you see in the Frappe ecosystem are all open source, including ERPNext. Uh, yeah, in the Frappe ecosystem, we have currently 10,000 plus customers. So all the applications are available on GitHub. The source code is available on GitHub, and we have 16,000 plus stars on GitHub as well. We work closely with our partners when it comes to delivering services and doing the implementation. So we have globally across 160 plus. I think it has crossed 180 now. So as Frappe, what we do, we focus on building the product, while the partner ecosystem, they do the implementation and provide services, right? Moving forward, you all might already know ERPNext since you have signed up for this webinar. But apart from ERPNext, we have a bunch of other applications as well, as you can see on your screen. There is Frappe framework, which is built. So it's kind of a framework, no code, low code framework, which allows you to build applications, and all the applications we built are on Frappe framework, and ERPNext being one of them. We also have other applications which are, for example, there is Frappe HR, which is end-to-end HRMS solution. We have Frappe CRM as well, which is a new product. We have Frappe Help Desk for ticketing management. We have Insights, which is a BI tool, and a bunch of other applications, as you can see on the screen. And just to reiterate, all the products that you see on the screen are 100% open source. Moving forward, I'll quickly talk about ERPNext, and then we will move to a demo session. So ERPNext, it's an end-to-end ERP solution which takes care of all the modules, starting from finance and accounting, which is like a heart of any ERP, right? So entire finance and accounting is a part of ERPNext, and it is well integrated with all other modules as well. We also have manufacturing. So in manufacturing, you can do production planning, capacity planning. You can create work orders. We also have a subcontracting module if you work on subcontracting basis, right? So you can do that as well. Then standard modules like purchase is there, sales is there, the entire sales cycle, right from creating a quotation to delivering the product or service, and also the invoicing. Similarly, for procurement, you can raise a purchase orders to your suppliers. You can also request for proposals. GRN, which is a standard term that we use in India, but it is purchase receipt, and bunch of other things as well. There is a stock module which is also very comprehensive. You can manage multiple items with variants. You can have batched items, you can have serialized items. We'll go through all that as well in today's demo. And then we have project management and support modules as well. So this is just an overview of the modules which are there in ERPNext. And also, if you are wondering, we also have APIs to integrate. Because of the power of Frappe framework, we have APIs available for all the doc types. So in case you want to integrate ERPNext with any third-party applications, You can do it very easily, and the UI is mobile friendly, so you can access it from mobile browser as well, right? There are other features like workflow management, user access management. Workflow is basically where you apply permissions, right? Let's say if you are purchasing something and you want approval of from the hierarchy, so you can implement approvals as well. And we have user access, so let's say if you want to give restricted access to certain users, you can do that as well very easily. Quickly jumping onto the demo session, I'll come back to my browser. Ankita, the screen is still visible, right? You can see my browser screen. Okay. So this is the user interface of ERPNext. As you can see, all the companies that are hosted on Frappe Cloud, you get an URL. Using this URL, you can log in using your login ID and password. As soon as you enter your login ID and password, you will be redirected to the homepage of ERPNext. Now, the area that you see in the center is called workspace. The workspace is totally customizable. You can add the shortcuts you like. You can add the graphs or charts or reports of your choice here. You can go to this section, edit the chart. If you want to, let's say, sorry, edit these shortcuts which I have added, you can do that as well. There is an option to edit the workspace, and as simple as that, you can just click on the edit option. You can add the chart, graphs, and shortcuts of your choice. On the left hand side, you will see the list of modules. As I mentioned, there is accounting, procurement module is there, selling module is there, stock, asset management, HR, manufacturing. All these modules you get by default. Now, it could be overwhelming. So if you want to restrict some modules to some users, you can do that as well. So all the modules will not be visible to them, and they will see only those modules which they have access to, right? Now, the important part is how do you navigate into the system. So there are two ways. One is you point and click. You can go to, let's say, selling module, go to item master. It will open list of all the items which you have in the system. And the second method is you can use the search bar as well. Just write item list and it will do the same thing. We have seen that initially when users start using ERP Next, they go through module point and click method. But once you get familiar with the system, you can use the this search bar to easily navigate into the system, right? Now, quickly starting the use case for the demo purpose. So the use case that I have taken today is, let's take a company that it's a corporate, and they are going to purchase certain laptops for their employees. The companies that I have taken is, Vijay Sales. It's a sample company that I have taken, and we will run a whole cycle of procurement and sales in this demo session. Now, to begin with, you need certain things before you start doing the actual transactions. First is company, right? So when I say company, this is your own company. So as you can see, we have created multiple companies here. If you have multiple companies listed or registered under the same name, or these are sister concerns, you can do multi-company setup as well. So companies are set. Second thing that you need is item master. So all the products or services that you are selling or purchasing, you need to create items for that. And this is the list view of items. Now, if you already have the data in some system, you can easily do a data import. So we have data import tool that you can use for easily importing the list of items that you have. So you just add a data import, you select which doc type you want to import the data for. You can insert the new records, save it. It will give you a template and just upload it. Or if you have a Google Sheet, you can attach the Google Sheet link, and as soon as you run a data import, it will automatically populate all the items that you have. You just have to make sure that the fields are mapped currently, and the values in that fields are also mapped correctly, and all the items that you see will be automatically populated. So that is the second important thing. You need item master. Third is you need a customer, right? Because you will be selling the product to your customer. So for that also, there is a doc type, customer list. So here are a few customers that we have created. If I just open one, you can see the details of this particular customer, name of the customer, customer type, either it's a company or an individual customer. There are certain other details like address and contact details. So this is the registered address, GST details if you are based in India. So all the details about that customer, you can save it in customer master. That is a third important uh, thing that you need to set up. And the fourth one is supplier, because you will be purchasing your raw materials from your supplier. So if I go to suppliers list, we have already created some sample suppliers here. Let's say, for example, Apple India Private Limited, similar to customer master. You can add all the details of that supplier, name of the company, address, GST details, and all those things. So I already have the data. Once you sign up as a trial user, we also have an option to get some sample data just to play around with the system. So when you create a trial account, you will already have some data in your account just to do some transaction and play around with the system. Now that we have a data, let's start the process of purchase. So the first step is you create a quotation, right? So let's say, yeah, before going doing that, I just want to show you the item master as well. So the product that you see, I have created a sample product which is MacBook Pro. There are some details about the product which I have added in the details section. You can see in the dashboard all the transactions that has happened against this particular item. If there are any purchase orders, sales orders, any transaction that you have done will be shown in this dashboard with the link to that doc type. And there's an inventory section as well. So let's say that your items that you are selling or purchasing are serialized item, which is a typical case when you go for electronics like MacBook or any laptop or mobile phone, or an electronics device. You have serial numbers as well. So we have that feature too. And if you are also running batches, you can select batch number as well. So once you select the serial number, either you can generate serial number based on this series. So what it will do, when you, let's say, manufacture or purchase, it will automatically give serial number. So for this MacBook, the serial number will be MACB0001 for the first item, and then 2, 3, and so on and so forth. So this is a feature that allows you to manage serialized and batched inventories as well. Now, okay, typically that you see when you go for laptops or mobile devices, you have different variants of the same product. It could be a color, different color, or it could be different storage space, things like that. So you can also manage the different variants of your item. This item is a template. You can go to create and multiple variants, and let's say I want this configuration. I want red MacBook with 512 GB of storage. Make one variant. It will automatically create a new item for this MacBook. Same product, but a different variant. So item variants can also be managed. Then you can add some defaults of related to accounting and things like that. I'll not go much into the details of the item master. Just to go back to item master, you see this one MacBook variant just got created uh, when I click that create variant button, right? So it will automatically populate all the details, and you can see this is a variant. The earlier one was a template. So that is your item master. I'll go to this MacBook. What I'll do, I just want to give a quotation to a company for this MacBook. All right. So in the dashboard, as I said, you can see all the details. There are some transactions that have already happened against this particular item. I want to create a new one. So easily, either you can go to quotation doc type and create a new quotation, add the details in all these fields, or the easier way is you open that item. You will see in dashboard quotation tab and plus sign. You just click on that plus sign and it will automatically populate the data. MacBook Pro midnight 256 GB. Now I need to select which customer I am giving this quotation to. Let's assume that we are giving this quotation to Frappe Technologies Private Limited, right? It automatically populated the price rate and everything from the default price list that was set. So standard selling price list I have already created. So it will automatically fetch the details, and let's say that the order is for 100 quantities. This is a bulk order. Again, we have, if you are in from India, right, we have GST related things as well. So there are templates for adding GST as well, outstate GST or in-state GST, things like that. For the ease of the transactions, I'll not select anything right now. I'll go and save this quotation. Now, as you can see, this quotation has been created. The quotation is in the draft state. So as long as any document is in the draft state, you have an option to edit it. If you want to, let's say, make any changes to the quantity, let's say if I want to edit the quantity to 90, you can still do it. I'll change it back to 100. And now, if let's say all the details are finalized, I will submit this quotation. Now this quotation is submitted. If I go to the list of quotation, you will be able to see this quotation. Frappe Technologies Private Limited, status is open. This is the date and this is the total, right? Now, of course, you would want to send this quotation to the prospect which has reached out to you. In that case, we have an option of print. You click on print and it will show you the print format. You can download the PDF, you can create it into PDF, attach it separately as an email. We have a print option as well. And this print format that you see is totally customizable, right? So based on your company's layout of print format, you can do this. This is just a sample quotation. You will also be able to add your company's logo, company's name, customer name, your company's name. Then it will have details of the item and the grand total as well, right? So this is the print format. If you want, we also have an option to send an email from the system itself. So in the quotation that you just created, there is an option to send an email. I want to send it to Faraz, and you can write your email and then add attachment that you just created, the PDF file. You can attach it and then immediately send it, right? So from the system itself, you can also send and receive the emails. Okay, now let's say the quotation you shared, let's assume that the customer accepted the quotation and they gave you an order. So the next step from here is creating a sales order. So you can see a create button over here. Please keep an eye on this doc type. This doc type will change once you click on create and sales order. Now you are in the sales order doc type. You can select the series of your sales order. As you can see, based on the quotation, it has automatically fetched the quantity, amount, and the customer details, right? Let's assume the delivery date is 31st of August, and let's try to save. If there are any errors or you missed anything, system will also show you a prompt. When I clicked on save, you can see that delivery warehouse, it threw an error that delivery warehouse is required for stock item, right? So you have to select delivery warehouse as well. So I'll go to this item, and in delivery warehouse, let's assume that you are selling this item from your store's warehouse. I select that and click on save. Okay, as you can see, again, this is in the draft stage and not submitted, so it will still allow you to make any changes if required. Once you submit it, this sales order is finalized, right? So now you have sales order finalized. If I go to the sales order list view, you will be able to see the sales order which we just created. As you can see, the status of this sales order is to deliver and bill. So this order has not been delivered yet, and it has not even been invoiced to the customer. Bunch of other sales orders and their statuses. So this one is completed. This one is still in draft. This one is to bill. The invoice is yet to be raised. So there are different statuses of the sales order. If I just open the sales order again, you will see an indication which is red right now. This red indication means that the stock is not available in your warehouse. You need to purchase these MacBooks. If I go to this warehouse, just hold on. If I open this item, right, you can see the order was for 56 quantity. Sorry, order was for 100 quantities, and the units I have available in the warehouse is 56. Order has been finalized, so now we will run a purchase cycle, right? And yeah, just to give an overview, there are bunch of things that you can do from these tabs. There's stock reservation. If you want to reserve the stocks, if you want to make any changes to the line item, you can still do that using update items button. But let's go ahead and create a purchase order for this particular item because we don't have these quantities available in stock. Just remember, now from the sales cycle, we are moving on to a purchase cycle because we need to procure the item first. I can just go to create and create purchase order. It will show you, this particular notification where it will show what is the quantity, and you can just click on this button and create purchase order. So now we are in the purchase order top type. Okay, so this will again automatically fetch all the details from the sales order itself, and we need to select a supplier who will be supplying this item to us. If I just select Apple India Private Limited, and you can verify these details again, so you can see the prices have changed here. These prices are your purchase prices. These purchase prices are coming from standard buying price list. The price list that you saw earlier was standard selling, so the rates were different. You are buying it at a different rate. So you can verify the rates, you can check other details, and then simply save this item. Again, it's in the draft stage, so you can make the changes if required, and then you can submit it, right? So now purchase order is also punched into the system. As you can see, the status of purchase order, it is currently to receive and bill. So this means that you have not yet received the stock and it has not been invoiced yet, right? So what is the next step from here? That's once the purchase order is finalized, you will receive the items in your stock. So that is purchase receipt. In India, typically we used GRN, goods receipt note, as a term, but in ERPNext we call it purchase receipt. So you can go to create section and create a purchase receipt. Remember, this you create once you have received the stock in your warehouse. Okay. So again, just like all other documents, it will automatically populate all the details from the purchase order itself. I just have to review once, verify all the details, address details, contact details, terms and conditions if there are any, all things like all those things, and then just simply save it and I'll submit it, right? Okay, so what happened now? We received these items. So we should be able to see this in our stock. If I just go to view section and if I open stock ledger, you will be able to see 100 inward quantity of this item in stores warehouse, right? So you don't have to manually go and make inward transaction. As soon as you submit the purchase receipt entry, it will automatically increase the stock of this particular item in your warehouse. If I open this item just to show you, this was the item. Now you can see the quantity is 156. Earlier it was 56, right? So this also gets automatically updated. At the same time, coming back to purchase receipt, if I go and view the accounting ledger, it will also post respective entries in the general ledger, right? You can see this is the company, this is the purchase receipt, and against that purchase receipt, the relevant accounts got debited and credited, right? Stock in hand got debited and stock received but not billed got credited. So journal entries are also automated. You don't have to manually go and create journal entries for your purchase transactions or any transactions, right? Okay, so now you can see the status has changed to bill. Earlier, it was showing to receive and bill. Now it is showing to bill. The next step is you create invoice for this. So before we do that, I just wanted to mention one thing. There are certain cases where you receive item for multiple purchase orders, right? So if that is the case, you can create one single purchase receipt against multiple purchase orders as well. That option is also available. So this covers the purchase receipt part. If I go to the list view of purchase receipt part, you can see, this is the one which we just created, and date, what is the total amount, and rest of the things like status of this order and all. So the next step is you will be receiving the invoice from your supplier, right? So you have to punch it in your system as well. You can go to create option and purchase invoice. So we created purchase order first. When we received the stock, we created purchase receipt. Next step is you create purchase invoice. So this is the invoice, purchase invoice. Review all the details. If there are multiple purchase orders, as I mentioned, you can create single invoice for multiple purchase orders as well. So you can just select purchase order, get items from purchase order or purchase receipt, and you can select multiple purchase orders or purchase receipts, and it will populate the line items for each and every purchase order. Right. Review all the details and save it. Okay, so this field is mandatory. You need to enter supplier's invoice number as well. So you will of course receive an invoice from your supplier. So just enter the reference number in this field. Let's say it was INV 00045. I'll just save it, review it once, and submit it. Right. So now this invoice is also submitted. Keep an eye on the status. This status is showing unpaid now. So you have received the invoice, but you have not yet paid to your suppliers. Now this step of creating purchase invoice, this one will also have an impact on your accounting. So if I just go to view and accounting ledger, just like it posted entries in general ledger for purchase receipt, it will also post entries for your purchase invoice. You can see the creditors account got credited and stock receivables but not billed account got debited, right? And just to show you, we also have accounts payables report. So if I just open accounts payable report, you will be able to see those transactions in this report as well. So you can see the one which just got created today, 28th, Apple India, payable account is creditors. You will also be able to see the invoice reference number and the amount. Right. You can also filter it based on different parties. There are multiple filters available. We can come back to this report maybe later on. But just to move forward, I'll go back to purchase invoice. And now let's say you made payment of this purchase invoice to your supplier. Again, you can just go to create button and payment. Also, there is one more way you can do it from this tab. You can create payment entry, or you can go to payment entry doc type and do it manually as well. But just for the ease, we will create it using this create button only. Create payment. This you will create after transferring the amount to your supplier. You can add all the details, mode of payment. What is the mode of payment? Let's say you did it via wire transfer. If there is any reference number for this particular wire transfer, you can do that as well. What is the amount that was paid? If there are any other outstanding invoices, you can fetch that as well. You can make payment for multiple invoices using the same transaction. So you can fill in all the details and then just simply save it and submit it, right? So this is the payment. This marks the end of your purchase cycle. So we created purchase order, then we created purchase and purchase receipt, which impacted your stock. Then there was invoice, which impacted your accounts payables report, and then final step is payment entry. And payment entry will nullify all the payables amount. So if I open the ledger now, it will show that creditors account got debited and cash account got credited, right? So all the accounting related entries are also happening automatically. Just to go back to the purchase order to show you the status. Yeah, so this was the purchase order. Now you can see the status is completed. It has been billed and it has also been received. Now this is not the case all the time. There are certain instances where you receive items partially. There are certain instances where you make the payment in advance and then make, let's say, remaining amount, transfer the remaining amount after taking the delivery. All those use cases can also be taken care of very easily in the same cycle. You will not be going in the standard flow of creating order, receipt, invoice, and payment entry. You will first create, let's say, partial payment invoice, then you will create payment entry for that, then you will create purchase receipt. So you can do all of that. Just to make it simple, I have taken a standard use case where you are receiving the amount and then making the 100% payment. Right. So now our purchase cycle is complete. We have the items in stock. Now, if you remember, we had created sales order in the first step, right? So let's go back to that sales order. This was the sales order which we had created with the status to deliver and bill. If I just open that, yeah, so to deliver and bill. Now the next step is you are delivering these items to your customer, right? So if I just click on the create button, next step is you create a delivery note. You click on the delivery note. Now if you notice, this red dot has changed into green. This indicates that now you have enough quantity in stock to make this delivery. If the case was where you don't have enough items, then this will still be red and it will throw an error once you save this transaction that you don't have enough items in stock. So all those validations are also in place when you are making these transactions. It will validate first if you have items in stock or not, and based on that only it will allow you to move forward. So this is the delivery note. Now remember, just like purchase receipt, it impacted your stock and it posted an entry of stock in Word. Delivery note will also impact your stock and it will make an entry for items which have gone out of your warehouse. So if I just click on save and then submit this delivery note, you will be able to see that to bill status again changed to to bill. And if I view stock ledger, you can see the out quantity is 100, right? In the purchase receipt transaction, in quantity was 100, and in this particular transaction, stock outward is 100. So now this item has been delivered. One more thing, since this was a serialized items, there can be a case where you are sending a units of a particular serial number to that particular customer, right? So if you come back to this view, you will also see an option to pick serial number and batch number. So if you are selecting it manually, then it will show serial number accordingly. But if you don't do it, then based on the method that you have selected, FIFO or LIFO, it will automatically select the serial number. So if I just open this particular serial and batch bundle, it will show which 100 units of MacBook were delivered for this order, right? Again, it could be manual. Since I did not select it, it selected 100 units automatically. You can see there are total 100 units which got delivered. Similar thing when we created purchase receipt, it automatically created those 100 serial numbers based on the um, the method that we had given, MACB series that we had defined, MACB 0001. All right. So this is the delivery note. Now the next step is you will of course be sending the invoice to your customer. You can go to create button and create a sales invoice, very important step. And then you can verify the details. There's one more. Okay, I'll just save this particular sales invoice. There's one more option if you want to preview the accounting ledger. So what will happen once you submit this invoice, you can preview as well. If you click on preview button and then click on accounting ledger, it will show you accounting ledger preview that sales account will be credited once you submit this and your debtors account will be debited, right? So this is just an additional feature for you to know in advance what will happen once you submit this particular transaction. I'll just go and submit this invoice as well. And if you check the accounting ledger, it will post the entries for this transaction in the accounting. Sorry, I did not. Just reload this. View accounting ledger, right? So debtors account got debited just like it showed in the preview, and sales account got credited. Now, if I check accounts receivables report, this amount will also be reflected in this report. So just like accounts payables, we have accounts receivables report as well. So this date, Frappe is the customer. Against this sales invoice, this much amount you are yet to receive, right? So your accounts receivable report will automatically get impacted once you create your sales invoice transaction. Now the next step is of course payment entry. Let's say you shared this invoice again. We have print format option available over here. You can print this particular invoice in your format and send it to your customer. You can have your company logo, item name, description, amount. If you are in India, GST details will also be reflected in this section, and then you can email it to your customer. Now let's say that your customer made the payment. You create a payment entry. You can click on payment but create option and payment button. what was the mode of the payment, what was the amount that was paid to you, and simply save and submit this as well. So this will create payment entry, and you can check the ledger as well. Debtors account got credited and your cash account got debited, right? So this will mark the end of your entire sales cycle. So you created a sales order first. Now, because you did not have items available in your inventory, we went through the whole purchase cycle. Then we came back to sales cycle where we created delivery note, and then sales invoice, and finally the payment entry. So if I go back to sales order list now, you will be able to see that this order has been completed. It has been delivered 100% and amount is also received 100%. Now, as discussed in the purchase cycle, if you are making partial delivery or receiving partial amount, you can do that as well very easily. So, so far, any questions in these transactions that we made, or I would also like to show you a little bit of customization capabilities of ERPNext as well. Okay, I'll just move forward for now, and we'll take the questions. I think maybe after I complete the whole demo session. Okay, so the view that you saw was a list view of all the doc types. This is the sales order. This is the list view. We also have multiple views options. So if you click on this button, if you check report view, you will also be able to see it in a report view format, which you can always export, download it in Excel or CSV format. You can also set up auto email for that. You can print this report, and let's say that you, apart from these fields, let's say you don't want to see some of these fields and want a very a crisp report, then you can go to this section. Sorry, you can go to yeah, you can go to these three dots, uh, pick columns, and you can deselect the fields that you don't want to see. Let's say I don't want to see percentage delivered, I don't want to see order type, right? I don't want to see the currency. These fields I don't want to see, and then I'll submit it. So those columns will be removed from the report that you see. So there is a report view as well. Uh, we also have default reports available. So if I go to this section, there are certain reports which are available by default. For example, sales order trends, right? So if I click on that, you will be able to see some of the trends of your sales orders as well. You can filter it by group. You can filter it by, let's say, frequency, whether it is monthly, quarterly, half yearly, or yearly. There are some lot of default reports available, in fact. Similar to sales orders, we also have reports available for your purchase transactions. So those reports you can definitely use, will be very useful, in fact. Now, I just want to show you some customization capability as well. Let's open the sales order that we just created. Right now, in this sales order, all the fields that you see, I also want to add one more field. Right? Let's say I have some custom use case. I want to track some details of this particular customer, and I want to add one more field in this particular view. You can go to these three dots. You can go to customize option, and in the customize form section you will be able to see all the fields which are there, right? So let's say right below order type I want to add one more field, which will show me the type of customer as well. So I'll click on add field. I'll select which type of field I want to add. Let's say the field type is select, and in the options I want to show, let's say, whether it is a individual customer or a company, right? And I want to add one more field, of, let's say, date. I'll just name it as estimated delivery. I forgot to name this field. Uh, okay, and click on update. Right. So if I go back to sales order now and I just reload this, sorry, if I just go to this and create a new sales order, you will be able to see the customer type field, which was not visible or available previously, is now available. And estimated delivery field is also visible. So based on the field type, so since this was select field type, it gave me two options. And since this was date field type, it gave me a calendar, so you can select the date, right? So by using customized form field, you can very easily add new fields. You can in fact create entirely new doc type. The sales order is a doc type, so similar to sales order, let's say you want to create a new doc type, you can create that as well. You just add all the fields which are required, and it will create a form for you. So this is the customization capability of ERPNext. It all comes from Frappe framework, because Frappe framework is no code, low code framework. It allows you to do such customization without touching the code or writing any script or anything. You can also add validations. Let's say if you want to make this field mandatory, in the customized form, we have an option to make this field mandatory as well. If you want to make some certain fields read only, you can do that as well. If you want to apply some conditions where the field should be visible only if, let's say, this value is there in some other field, so you can add depends on conditions as well. So all those kinds of customizations you can do very easily in ERPNext. Now, just going back to the doc types, the accounting doc type, you will be able to see a lot of reports which are available, payment related documents as well. We also have cost centers in ERPNext, so you can have multiple cost centers for better visibility on accounting. If I just show you chart of accounts, so this yeah, if I just open chart of accounts, you will be able to see all the accounts which are there. These are assets account, current assets, fixed assets. So you can always edit these accounts. You can add a child. There are income accounts, direct income, indirect income. Direct income is coming from your sales and services. So you can have all these you know child tables as well, where you can see the entire chart of accounts. And this is also totally customizable. You can always add a child. You can delete certain account if it is not required, and things like that. So it will be very difficult to cover entire ERPNext in just one demo session. The purpose of this demo was to just give you an overview, make you familiar with the system. So that's why we just ran one simple cycle of sales and purchase, and also what are the impacts of the transactions that you do on the accounting and stock side of things. There are a bunch of other modules as well. Manufacturing, it's also very detailed. We have BOM, then you can create production plan, work order, job card creation, and production planning report is also there. So all these things you can do in the manufacturing cycle as well. Any questions or anything, or any particular you know feature that you would like to see? You can ask questions now. Ankita, are there
Yeah,
any questions in the chat?
there are some questions in the chat box which I've already answered. But in case anyone has any follow-up question to the answer that I've already given, so you can raise it over here in case we
Yeah,
want to see
definitely.
it in the screen. I think someone raised their hand. Madhu, you can just unmute yourself and ask the question. Okay. Yeah, Sham, you can ask the question.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, so I have a question related to bank feeds when you download the activity directly from the bank. So how many months can we do that for? How many months back can we go and download the bank feeds?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
Like from when you do a automatic bank feeds download transactions from the bank, I
Okay.
believe you guys use Plaid. Plaid integration to download the bank transactions. So the
Okay.
question is how many months of activity can we download in one go?
Okay. If it's an integration, I might not have the answer right away for you. We can always get back to you over an email or something. I'll have to check with the person who has built this integration, and I can get back to you on that. We
Okay,
can,
and okay,
Ankit,
that's fine. And one last question. I see
yeah.
you have the ERP, but you have all these other flappy CRM and so forth.
Yes.
So
Yes.
are they, which one should we use? Should we use the functionality within the ERP or should we use these add-ons, apps?
Okay, so what happens is when you create your site on, let's say, Frappe Cloud, you install these applications, right? Uh, let's say you selected ERPNext, CRM, and Frappe HR. So when you log in, on the login screen itself, it will show you which application you want to go into. You want to go to ERPNext, you want to open Frappe HR, or you want to go to CRM. And if you are already logged in under CRM, we also have a button that will allow you to switch applications. So you don't have to log in separately as long as these applications are installed on the same site. The same login will work for all the applications.
But there is like HR capabilities within the ERP. So is the Frappe HR is more detailed? So I can just use the functionality within the ERP, right? So I might
It's the
not
same.
even need the
Yeah,
other.
it's actually
Okay.
the same. So earlier, Frappe HR was a part of ERP Next. I think last year we separated, Frappe HR as well. So if you want to, let's say, use ERP Next with Frappe HR, it will offer you the same functionality. And if you want to use Frappe HR as a standalone application without ERP Next, you can do that as well. So for those users who don't want ERP Next and just want Frappe HR, for them we have only Frappe HR application that you can use.
Okay, but I don't need to use a Frappe HR if I already am using the ERP Next, correct?
Yeah. So currently, which version you are on? If you can.
The most recent one, I just whatever is posted
Okay. So
on.
then in that case, you must have installed the Frappe HR application. So it shows in the modules tab.
Yes.
It will not feel like a separate application, but it is already a separate application. It will feel like it is a part of ERP Next only.
Okay, so I would need both then.
Yeah, 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 both are by default installed. If you are able to see Frappe HR, then both are by default installed.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay, any further questions? Feel free to ask. Is Frappe HRMS robust?
Hi.
Yeah, I mean, just one
Hello.
question. Hello.
Yeah, Parth, you can answer the question.
Yeah, is Frappe HRMS robust? So yeah, I mean, it has all the features that are required to do HR related things. We have payroll, we have leave management, the whole tracking of the journey of the employees, expense claims, all those things are available. So and we use Frappe HRMS internally for our HR related things. So it has all the features and everything that is required to run HR domain. We are ERP consulting company. How do we convince client regarding data security? Yeah, so see, we have security documentation for Frappe Cloud. We can share that with you. But just to give you some context, Frappe Cloud is also on AWS. So all the security related features that you get from AWS, it by default comes on Frappe Cloud. And second thing is we are also ISO compliant. We do regular audits. Infra audits are also there. So in that case, you don't have to worry about the security. But if you still wish to convince client for Frappe Cloud, and if they want to speak with Frappe as well, you can reach out to us. We don't mind joining a call with you to pitch Frappe Cloud together. How to integrate ERPNext with Microsoft Dynamics 365? Well, both are ERP applications. Why would you integrate ERP with another ERP? If there is a specific use case that is there, you can share it.
Yeah, like the specific use case is our customer is using Microsoft Dynamics 365 from so many days, and they want us to move all the general entries from ERPNext to Dynamics 365 once in a month, once the payroll is processed.
Okay. So see, if you we have APIs available, right? As long as you are able to get hold of Microsoft Dynamics APIs, you can always integrate. But these integrations are very tricky, since what happens is, for let's say integrating or let's transferring just accounting entries, you will also have to integrate other modules which are related to those accounting entries, right? Let's say, uh, let's if I take an example of sales invoice, it's not just sales invoice, the whole price list is linked with sales invoice. So in that case, you will have to link price list. If it is your customer master which is linked with your sales invoice, you will have to integrate that as well. So we have APIs. It is possible, but it will be difficult considering all the dependencies which are so it will require a lot of effort. So easier way would be to manually download those and upload those once in a month.
Mm, okay. So how to convince our customer regarding this point? Like we can just like what we can tell them.
Well, if you ask me, I'll say that convince them to move 100% to maybe ERP next. That's a better solution.
Oh,
uh,
okay, okay.
but
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, for now, see, integration capabilities are there, right? You can integrate ERP
Hmm.
next with any application. It's just that the
Hmm.
integrations are not easy. When it comes
Correct.
to accounting transactions, integrations are not easy. It will
Hmm.
require
Hmm.
a lot
Hmm.
of time, effort, and once you build an integration, maintaining that integration will also be tricky. What if something changes from, let's say, Microsoft
Hmm.
Dynamics APIs point of view, right? APIs that they provide with a new upgrade. What if they change something? What if we change something from our side in the new version? So all these things are very tricky. So such integrations we usually ask prospect to avoid.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, I am trying from last 2 weeks, but I'm not able to achieve that. I'm stuck.
Yeah, you can, maybe if it is very critical, you can reach out to our partners if they can help, or if someone has already built uh, an integration. I'm not sure if someone has already built, but you can still take help from either community or our partners.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Can we have option to add is equal to and add numbers to add numbers, like we are doing in Excel? Excel, we are adding more numbers. One. Option ERP next. Well,
I think, Simran, if you can just say it in detail what exactly you're looking for.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Let me explain this one.
Yeah.
Actually, in Excel, like we are adding the is equal to sign in the cells, and then we are adding numbers. And once we are entering, we will get the addition of all those numbers. So can we have this option in ERP next also? Like if we can use the is equal to button and we are adding the numbers, and once we are entering that one, click on the enter button and we'll get the addition of all the numbers which we have added. Like this field is available in the ERP next also.
no, I don't think that is currently.
But why are you looking for this kind of specification? And what
Actually,
was?
it comes from our client.
Hmm.
They want this kind of requirement, so that's the reason.
Okay, we
Yeah,
need. Yeah. Yeah.
usually what happens when let's say you are punching a sales order and you want to make a summation of certain values, and that will be your, let's say, sale price, right? In that case,
Mhm.
uh, we don't have an option to actually do that summation in ERP next. You can do it in some other, let's say, Excel sheet or something, and then add the final number. That's
Okay,
not a
but we
very
don't.
standard functionality of
Yeah,
any
yeah.
ERP. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Like
yes.
an Excel sheet
Mhm.
functionality, not really ERP functionality. So
Okay, thank you.
I have one more question.
yeah, go ahead.
Same thing like Frappe HR. When I was downloading this, I downloaded everything. So we have CRM and Frappe CRM. It's a little bit confusing. So do we
Okay.
use Frappe
Yeah.
CRM or the regular CRM?
Yeah. I'll clarify that as well. So, Frappe CRM is a new product that we have built. It has been built from scratch. So, it's a standalone application. So, if you are doing, let's say, a new implementation, then I'll recommend that you use new Frappe CRM only. The old one, which is a part of ERPNext, we will eventually discontinue it. So, if you are implementing it for a new use case, then use Frappe CRM only. Because see, what we realized is initially, I think until version 13 or 14, we had so many applications within ERP Next, and then ERP itself becomes huge. Let's say, of an example of HR, right? HR is usually not a part of any ERP. It's a separate application in itself because it's that big. Similarly for CRM, right? You will see a lot of standalone applications for CRM. So now we are dividing slowly ERP Next into multiple applications where ERP related things are separate, and these applications like HRMS, CRM, and in fact support as well. Support was also earlier part of ERP Next. So you will still see support related modules if you install ERP Next right now, but eventually we will completely move to a help desk, which is support application.
Yes, so going forward, since we are just starting on this, so the best practice would be to install the Frappe CRM, the
Yes.
Frappe, the help desk, the separate module, the
Yes.
separate HRM one, all of them separate, right?
Yes,
And the same
absolutely.
thing
That's
with
correct.
it.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and these products are now a little mature as well, so you will not face any challenges or difficulties with using these products. And if you are on Frappe Cloud, you always have access to our support.
And in that case, we can hide the other ones, because we don't have to, want to have both places. So we can hide the CRM and all those HR sections because we are using this standalone apps then.
Yes, you can do that. You can. I mean, we have access management, right? So you can always revoke the access for certain modules so that those will be hidden.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Parth, I have a question regarding
Yeah.
batch
Look,
bundle.
go ahead.
Yeah, so like actually not for this, it's for manufacturing, but like you talked about batch bundle, so I just want to like ask one thing. So there is one like drop down. It's for entry or a transaction type. It's like incoming, outgoing, and few more options are coming there. Okay. So when we are sending, am I audible?
Yeah, you have to speak a little louder. It's not that clear.
Okay. So, like in the batch bundle doc type, actually, there is one option like the transaction type. It's like I think incoming, outgoing, and few more options are there. So for there, I want to ask when we are sending the item to like, for example, I'm giving subcontract. Okay, when I'm sending the item, I'm transferring good from my warehouse to supplier warehouse. On in this case, the system creates two batch bundle. So in one, it keeps the type is incoming. Sorry, the one is kept it's outgoing. So in which it shows my warehouse from where it's I'm doing outward, and one it's showing incoming, in which it shows the supplier warehouse where this batch is going.
Okay.
So do we just want to clear it? It's like, do we need this because I'm not getting. Are we tracking somewhere that transaction wise or uh,
No, what's the concern? I mean, what is the concern with that
like,
showing inward or
yeah, like
outward?
my concern is why it's getting two batch bundles when I'm sending my that batches from my warehouse to supplier warehouse. Okay. So
Okay.
it creating one for incoming and one for outgoing. When I'm outgoing is for from my warehouse and
Okay.
incoming is for the supplier warehouse.
Got it.
So that only I'm a little bit confused why we are doing this. Not sure
Um, I'll need some details, visual something for this. So let's do one thing. You can maybe drop an email to me.
yeah, sure.
I'll check with the owner of the stock module, why it is happening, or if I can answer it, I'll answer that.
Or I'll one more thing. I'll advise Anup that tomorrow we have the ERP Next and Frappe HR functional and technical queries session. So why don't you
Okay.
register for that and register this query?
Sure.
Yeah, we can do that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Dipen will be taking this question then.
Okay, Dipen. Okay. Thanks.
Cool. Since we have come to the end of the session, and we have already run out of time, so in case you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me or Parth. We'll also share the contact us form over here. In case you have any queries, you can reach out to us in this contact us form. Moreover, thank you all for joining in. Please do share your valuable feedback once the session is over. The link will open up for feedback. Your feedback will help us actually to schedule our future events as well as part of public webinars. So please do share your valuable feedback. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Parth, for this insightful session. Hope to see you in the upcoming sessions as well. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you everyone for joining. I hope this was helpful.